Welcome in, Chooms. Geo Gaming here. Today I'm going to be doing another build video, this time primarily focusing on a Katana Sandevistan build. If you saw my last one on the throwing weapons, it's pretty similar to that one. A couple things are changed, so we're going to go through all that good stuff. And honestly, this is one of the most powerful builds as well. Had a lot of fun with this one. This has probably been one of my main builds that I like to go with whenever I do playthroughs. So today I'm going to show you where the weapons are, the cyberware, what kind of perks you would like. It's going to make you feel like a complete badass. Let's get into it. So let's quickly touch on perks. The most essential one for this build is the reflexes tree. You want to get this one to level 20 as soon as you can. You basically want to unlock this entire middle portion of the tree and this entire right hand side. This right hand side, all about the blades, bullet deflect, finishers, and then greater chance of dismemberment. And then obviously the middle one, all about being able to dash around, air dash. This tailwind one is really great, pretty much negating any stamina usage whenever you are dashing, so allows you to move around the city a lot quicker, around the battleground a lot quicker as well, and moving towards your enemies. I really like this one, the mad dash, being able to get to your enemies pretty much in a flash, just dashing right towards them. But with this one, you also want to get this one as well, the seeing double, and then from that point you can also get this one as well. I highly recommend this one, the flash and thunderclap. This pretty much just allows you to dash at your enemies with your blade already out, so you're pretty much being able to close the distance with your enemy and starting that combo even from a greater distance. So reflexes 20 as soon as you can. The next important one here, of course, is technical ability. Also try and get this one to level 20. It might take a little bit longer to get this one to level 20, but do get it to level 20 whenever you can. Obviously, this middle portion here is all about the cyberware, being able to modify or enhance the cyberware that you're going to be using, reducing cooldown, reducing incoming damage, better crafting, better components to add onto your cyberware. Highly recommend Edge Runner as well, just for extra cyberware capacity and also being able to unlock that Fury state. And then this one as well, the ticking time bomb, pretty much just unleashing an EMP right after you come out of the Sandevistan. It still works even with the Sandevistan active, but you won't really see it until after the Sandevistan turns off. And then obviously this entire left side, all about just being able to recharge your nades, your health items. We are going to be using a projectile launcher, which I'll talk about in a sec, so I highly recommend unlocking this entire left side here, and then also getting this Doom Launcher perk as well, whenever you can. We also have the body tree here as well. You do not have to get this one to level 20. Leaving it at 15 is completely fine. Really just unlocking all these middle ones. These are all health regenning. Obviously this top one is for just more health and also getting that adrenaline rush whenever you do use your health boosters and whatnot. I would highly recommend just getting these outside ones as well, but for some of these you don't have to. You might not even feel it when you're in Sandevistan time, but you can still go ahead and cop them if you have the extra perk points as well. So for the cool tree, you can pretty much leave this one alone. You do not have to spec into this one as heavy, unless you want to, right? You can always get these sneak around perks, add a little bit of stealth and finesse to your game if you would like. But you can also plug in some perk points if you got, just plugging them into these bottom ones here, being able to sneak around, killing enemies without being detected. You can go ahead and do that, but for the most part, just leave this one alone. And then obviously intelligence, you can also leave this one alone. I have this one at level 20 because I was doing a totally different build before this one, but intelligence, I would just leave this one alone unless you plan on being a net runner. Then of course we move on to the cyberware. Obviously the most important piece to all this is the operating system. We are going to be using the Militech Apogee Sandevistan for this build. You can use the Militech Falcon if you'd like. I really like both of these. Sometimes I prefer the Falcon just because it does last a little bit longer. But for this one, I just feel like the Apogee does suit our needs a little bit more. Even though it does turn off a little bit sooner, you pretty much get the job done even before this one ends up running out of charge. So the Militech Apogee is the one that I prefer. If you're at a lower level, the Falcon you do get the Falcon at level 30. So if you want to get that one, you definitely can. But the Apogee, you get this one at level 40. So you know, there's a 10 level difference there. So, but again, they're both really good. So whichever one you want to use. We also have the Axolotl here, mentioned in my last video that you can get this one for free by completing all of Regina's gigs. There's 23 of them up in Watson. Highly recommend this one as well if you have the Cyberware capacity. Self-ice as well. You do not need it, but it is helpful against enemy netrunners. Here we have the projectile launch system. This one is good for certain situations where you have like a turret or something that's like out of reach that you want to take out. You can pretty much just launch your grenades over to that turret and blow it up. Or you know, you can surprise enemies by shooting your projectile launch system first and then going in with the Katana and Sandevistan. Whatever you want to use, but this is a really helpful piece of armor that you want to have. Then we have the Cockatrice Optics, just increasing that crit chance. With critical hits, obviously you kill your enemies a lot faster, you drain their health a lot faster, so having higher chances of getting those critical hits is always essential. Skeleton, obviously we have titanium bones just for more carrying capacity and a little bit of armor. But again, if you don't collect that much, you do not need this one. Highly recommend Parabellum, or you can use the Epimorphic Skeleton if you'd like. Rara Avis, you can use that one if you like. It's just too costly for me in terms of cyberware, so just go with Parabellum for the most part with this one. Again, Epimorphic Skeleton if you want to use that one. Next, we have Dense Marrow. There's a good part and a drawback to Dense Marrow. Obviously, you do more damage with this one, but at the cost of greater stamina usage. But I still recommend using this one because we are actually going to negate that stamina usage by going over here to the Circ system. We're going to use this Adrenaline Booster, which just gives us more stamina every time you kill an enemy with one of your katanas. So it pretty much just negates that loss of stamina from the Dense Marrow with the Adrenaline Booster. Then of course I don't like manually activating my own health booster, so Biomon, essential. Blood Pump, essential as well. Just heals better than the inhalers. On the nervous system, we got the Stabber here, greater crit chance, same as the Cockatrice Optics. You can use Adreno Trigger. I like using Adreno Trigger, but honestly, if you feel like you don't need that much time, this one's for 35 seconds. You're probably going to kill your enemies before the 35 seconds is even up, so you can always use the Adrenaline Converter. Lasts 8 seconds, but still does increase that movement speed, so you can get around to your enemies faster. In the Integumentary system, I think I said that correctly, we have here the Shock and Awe. You can use this one. With this system, you can pretty much switch out whatever you would like. There really is no set for this one. There's a lot of different options here. I like using Shock and Awe, as every time you get hit, you have a chance to emit an EMP blast. It's pretty helpful just being able to knock your enemies, stun them in place. If you have enough cyberware capacity for chitin, use chitin. That just adds more armor, but again, only if you have the cyberware capacity. Optical camo, obviously for going invisible, sneaking around, getting out of combat and whatnot. Peripheral inverse, here this is the one where the closer you are to an enemy, the less damage they do to you. This is the iconic version, but if you don't have enough space for the iconic version, of course, use the proxy shield. I highly recommend Pain Deucer as well if you want to put that one in there, but again, there's a lot of different options for this one. If you're at a lower level, you can use subdermal armor, just for regular armor. And then of course we have the legs. Reinforced tendons is the way to go. If you're using something else, then I'm not sure what to tell you, but reinforced tendons is the way to go. Obviously I didn't touch on hands, but because hands, there is no katana specific hand moddage that you can use here. I just inserted these two just to look cool. Shout out to Johnny, of course, and shout out to Wakako for this free one. But there is nothing here that you can use in the hand, so if you want to leave that empty or put these two in, you're more than welcome to. course, we have the weapons themselves. Obviously, this is the most important part of this entire build, the kind of weapon that you're going to use. To begin, we have Byakko, arguably the best katana in the game. You can get this one from Wakako after completing all 8 gigs of hers over in Japantown. It's pretty straightforward. The gigs aren't that bad. You can probably get this one pretty early on if you'd like. It's really one of the best katanas in the game, primarily because the thing about this katana, as soon as you kill one enemy, you are able to endlessly swing, like the cyber cycle that V is. Normally with katanas, you kind of swing in like a triangle formation or a triangle shape. But with this one, it pretty much just negates that. After you kill an enemy, you can just endlessly swing and just slice up your enemies like it's nothing. So this one, highly recommend having this one. It is probably the best katana in the game. The next best one, in my opinion, is the Scalpel katana. You get this one after completing the Big in Japan quest, pretty early on in the game after you meet with Rogue in the Afterlife. This one, of course, it's best used with the Sandevistan. It does increase crit chance and also does apply bleeding when you're using it with a Sandevistan. So this one does mesh pretty well with that Sandevistan. Again, you can't do the fast swinging unlike the Byakko, but with this one, it's really good against enemies like tougher bosses or skull level enemies. I highly recommend using this one against named bosses. You know, if you're going into the Atom Smasher fight, this one is a really good katana to use up against him. And then, of course, we have Errata. You can use Errata if you like. The Errata you get during the Disasterpiece quest with Judy when you go down to the works to that one abandoned electric core company or whatever. Save Evelyn from the scavs. You see this one in a furnace. Make sure you pick that up. But if you don't pick it up during that quest, or if you're seeing this after you already completed that mission, and if you have the Phantom Liberty DLC, you can buy this one from the weapons vendor down in Dogtown in the stadium. They do have it there for like 86,000 eddies or something like that, so you could always pick it up at a later time if you'd like. But if you don't want to use Errata, you don't necessarily need to have all katanas. I do recommend, if you want to use a throwing weapon of some sort, I recommend using a Gao. I mentioned in my last video, a Gao is one of the best axes to have in the game. You can get this one in Dogtown and Luxor Heights off the increased criminal activity after defeating Iozarin. This one's really good to have, just like I mentioned with the projectile launcher, just for those situations where something's out of your reach and you gotta take it out like a turret or even an enemy. You just throw this axe at them and it'll get the job done. There are some alternatives to the katanas that you can use if you do want to use them. Honestly, Byakko, Scalpel, and Errata are probably the only ones you should be using for that build, but in case you want to try something different or haven't unlocked those katanas yet, here are some alternatives. We got the Tsumetogi. This one you get during the Pisces quest after you pull it out from the body of Hiromi Sato. This one's good, but it does have the highest base damage out of all the katanas. Its only feature is that it does more electrical damage, so you know there's that. It does look really cool though with the yellow handle. This is the Jinchu-Maru. This is the one that you get after defeating Oda. You have to use this one in a specific way, same with the cocktail stick. The cocktail stick you get during the automatic love quest when you're looking for information on Evelyn when you're at Clouds. These two are pretty much, you have to use them in pretty much the exact same way with optical camo. That's how they're best used, is how you pretty much maximize them. So a little wonky to use, but they're okay. Cocktail stick is anything special. Jinchu-Maru, nothing crazy either, but you can use them. Satori, this one you pull from the AV that Saburo Arasaka showed up at the Konpeki Plaza during the heist. This one is best used alongside the Nihon knife. You throw the knife at an enemy and then you finish them off with this blade, so it's not really good for using by itself, but there is that if you do want to use it. Well, my Chumbas, that is all I got for you today. If you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and if you have any questions, and please subscribe. I am a new YouTuber, so I am looking to get some better equipment soon. I know the videos might not be the best quality, but we are looking to get better as we go on, so appreciate your guys' times. And again, I will see you in the next one. Peace.